All right, 2.6.22 homework problem, math Excel algebra 2. So this one's talking about something called the discriminant. I think we mentioned that before once, but using the discriminant to determine the type and maybe the number of solutions. So the discriminant, you remember the quadratic formula, x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So the discriminant part, and what would determine if we're going to have imaginary roots, is when we have that negative under the square root. So if you remember what we said, I remember drawing these graphs before. If we have a parabola that's going to do that, we've got two real roots right there. If we have a parabola that looks like this or this, and this one over here might have been opening down, you've got one real root. Saw that on the last problem where the factors were the same, so like x minus 3 and x minus 3 here, so you have the same root twice, a double root bounces off like, and over here if I had x plus 2 or x plus 2, same thing, negative 2 would be the root. But what about the ones where you have an example where it's like up here or down here, so it never crosses? That's where you're going to have under the square root, that's called the discriminant. Underneath there, so the b squared minus 4ac, if it's negative, that's this situation. If it's positive, that's this situation. And the last option is if it's 0, then that would be this situation. So let's check this problem out. My first thing that I noticed on this problem is that I could divide all these by 4 just to get some smaller numbers to work with. So this problem would turn into q squared plus 2q plus 1 equals 0. And I feel like I see, without even using the discriminant, that this would factor into q plus 1 and q plus 1, which would be even faster than the discriminant, because which situation is that then? Hopefully you would agree that's this one right here. So one solution, and it's real. But let's see what happens with the discriminant just to see for sure. So a is 1 in front of the q squared. B is 2, the coefficient on the q. And c is 1, the plain constant one on the end. Plug it into the b squared minus 4ac. B squared would be 2 squared, which is 4. I'll write that out just so somebody doesn't get confused where that came from. B squared minus 4 times a is 1 times c is 1. So that'd be 4 minus 4, which is 0. Look, that's what we said for this. Factoring, that's what we said for this. So the question said, what's the value of the discriminant? And we would answer that it is a 0 in this case. So problem 2.6.22, using the discriminant to decide how many solutions you're going to have, what the graph sort of looks like, and connecting all those pieces together.